Assistant Professor at Department of Physical Education and Sports Science, Deshbandhu College, University of Delhi. She is the topper from LNIPE Gwalior 1992 batch. She was a gymnast and bagged world rank 8th in Suzuki World Cup 2006 Tokyo, Japan. She was appointed as an observer for Indian contingent in Asian Indoor Games. She was appointed as a sports psychologist for World University Game 2019 Italy. She has many international research papers on her credit. She has written many books on yoga and stress management from Delhi University curriculum. Her two books are the bestsellers of the Amazon, that is Encyclopedia for Gym Trainers and Marshal the Mind. She's a certified YTTC 500 hours yoga trainer from Yoga Alliance USA, registering more than 10,000 hours. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am. And today she will going to talk about mental training for peak performance.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mehak. And Sabhi ko namaskar. Good afternoon to India. I'm in Los Angeles right now. So here it is almost midnight. So I hope I'm not looking sleepy. So let us talk about the peak performance. And thank you, organizers, and congratulations, MANAV RACHNA Institute, for organizing such a beautiful conference with such a beautiful concept. Yes, for the sports person, peak performance, it is very essential. Each and every sports person have a dream to not only represent their country, not only to break the records, but also to achieve medal in Olympics. So from here, the journey starts. With this aim, with this goal, a sports person every day enters into the arena. Daily practice, it takes 4 years, 5 years, to do practice with the aim that we have to win a medal for the country. We have to win medal in the Olympics. We have to break the records and we have to set the records. So for this, I would like to present my screen today, and let us have this journey. So mental training for peak performance. In the last talk, I have just heard Dr. Mehak also about asking about the training and overtraining, overburn. We also call it burnout. So this is the condition, and yes, this is the notion of the coaches, of the team managers, and of course, perception of a athlete: no pain, no gain. But if we overdo and we the athlete, if they trap into the overuse syndrome, then the performance get hampered, then the injuries occur. That's the common phenomena. So Dr. Somebody has asked, I think Dr. Yog Maya Panda, she has asked why the injuries are better recovered in other region than the Asia. Let me tell you, it's in the mind. So first of all, the aim of an athlete and the coach manager has to be that they should not get injuries. If you are trapped in injury, the athlete is going to lose the time. And everybody knows when we go under the periodization, each and every day is calculated in the hand. So we should not, have ourselves trapped into the injuries. So let me quote my example. I was a All India Inter University gold medalist, gymnast, and during my pregnancy, I got paralytic attack, and that was a very horrifying journey. That's why I've written my book, which is bestseller on Amazon, Marshal the Mind. Because till then, everybody, LNIP is one of the finest and most famous college in Asia. So we have taught about not only being a physical educationist, being a sports person, being a competitive person, and a future coaches, we have taught the healthy body can keep healthy mind. So I was also going with the same notion, but when I got paralytic and the body was totally, uh, you know, uh, I can't use my body, then my whole concept have changed, because only brain was working, only through mind only I can understand all the things. And when the medical sciences were saying we don't know what has happened, so from there the mental training start, it has started. And being a sports person only, I could have understood very early, during recovery phases, that through mind only I have to keep my body healthy. I have to push my body towards the movement. And at the age of 33, I have represented India and won the world rank 8 in aerobic gymnastics Suzuki World Cup Tokyo. So from there, my journey has begun after 1995-96, that mind is a marshal the mind. So my book name is Marshal the Mind. So mental training, डॉक्टर योग माया को मैं कहना चाहूँगी, we are missing on the psychological training. Mental training is missing part, or maybe a little touched part, that's all. We are not having that much focus on the mental training, in comparison to we are focusing on the physical training more. We are focusing about the strength, about the fitness, about the skill, about the conditioning. We are talking about everything, and even we are talking about the nutrition. But when it comes to the mental training, people came rushing only to the last moment. Okay, let's appoint a sports psychologist and let us have that help. But it is not possible at the last moment to give any kind of help, because brain is also work as a muscle. As we have a muscle training and muscle memory, same we have acquisition in the brain. So anything, if you want to change this, you have to change the internal environment to get the external performance. So internally, lot of thing goes on at the back of the mind of a, in a subconscious mind, what we say as a psychologist, in the brain of a sports person. Everybody goes for to take the medal. Everybody has worked 4 years for that medal. But what happened at the starting line? What happened when the game begins? That matter a lot, because being a international athlete gymnast, I can tell you that time a sports person is all alone. The coach is standing behind the bars, behind the lane. They cannot come and communicate at that time. Just before beginning the race, just before beginning your performance, you are just concentrating and focusing towards the your podium, towards your balancing beam, or maybe vaulting horse, or maybe whatever. But the subconscious mind that is with you, and the athlete hear the voices, we call it inside voices. We need to change that voices, because the question mark, whether I'm going to perform or not, whether I'm going to fail, if I get fail, I won't get selection next time, I won't get any chance. The pressure is building up. He himself, the athlete himself, builds up the pressure, although the coaches are guiding, no worry, don't worry, you can do it, you are well prepared. But somewhere one question mark is in the subconscious mind, hitting the main brain, today or not, now or never. That's why mental training is very, very essential. So let us understand what is the peak performance. And I hope, because everybody, we all are involved and understand sports very well, it's a state of performance where we want the maximum, optimum result, optimum performance, optimum, execution, the ability to have that confidence, that, and it should be effortless. It should not be so pressurized. It should not be by luck, by chance. It has to be. The athlete has to perform that performance. He has to give that timing. He has to jump that, distance. He has to throw to that distance. He has to cover and under that time limit. For the gymnast, he has to take that much height that they can perform double somersault, triple somersault, twist, everything. So that is, you require a confidence to perform under so much pressure where the whole stadium is watching you. All of the spectators have come to watch your performance, and there you cannot afford to fail. But the fear is always there. After so much practice, even the last moment when the athlete is approaching towards the podium or towards the arena, he's talking to himself. The heart and the mind are in question, they are in conflict, whether or whether not. So, with the positive psychology, if we talk about, or we talk about the sports psychology, it is associated with the mental performance. So, I believe mind is a marshal, we need to marshal the mind. Just imagine, when we have done so much of practice, and when all the physical and physiological attributes have been achieved by the sports person, so they have the full lung capacity, they clear the fitness test, all of us know, they clear the selection trials, all of us know, so they are the best of the lot. But many a times they fail to perform even the what they have performed in the country back home, or during the selection trial. And sometimes there are the examples that they have performed lower than their previous performance. So that's why it is very essential to have that consistency of performance. If you have performed back home, in your home ground, then you have to perform. We all are expecting the same performance at the competitive ground also. So sports is 100% mental, attribute. Even if we have the total lung capacity, if we have all the physical and physiological preparation, but if athlete loses from the mind, they can't perform. And that is the reason of more injuries, because of the more stress, more pressure, and overtraining. So what happened? It gives the stress. So every athlete performs under the stress. That is true. You can't lift the stress from athletes. You can't train their mind. They will go under the stress. So what is stress? Let us understand. The first stress is they have the obsession of performance. That is that build up the stress. Again, they will get it, perfectionism, because everybody expects the perfection of the angles, perfection of performance, perfection of how they are handling it. So these are the causes of stress. After that, hypersensitivity, repetitive pressure of repetitive performance. That is very important. You have that pressure. If you are a champion, if you are a medalist last time, I have been 3 times gold medalist in All India Inter University, but the pressure next year, the first year was very fine. Okay, we are going to All India University, we will try for the medal. But when it came, the next year, the whole year went under the pressure that you need to perform it again. And when we got 2 medals, then the third year was the last year, again the pressure built up, let's make a hat trick. So that's why it is a self-built stress, and the anxiety is the product of stress. It is a end product of stress, that is anxiety. And when anxiety, I won't say anxiety attack, but I will say that anxiety comes up on the surface, the performance get down and people get injured. People get injured. People get afraid of their, and they miss the angle, they miss the height, and then they get the injuries. So that is how it is correlated. And then comes to the social media, the criticism. If the trial, if the first round in the Olympics, everybody is watching the qualifying round, the quarter final, and then the social media comes up, the reporting start over there, and that again build up the stress. So athlete cannot avoid the stress because it's a psychological, physiological, and behavioral balancing we need that to conquer the stress, because we need the equilibrium. So according to Palmer, this is the definition of stress: the psychological, physiological, and behavioral responses by an individual when they perceive a lack of equilibrium between the demands placed upon them and their ability to meet those demands. Now, demands are very high. Definitely, even if we create the ecology, we create the environment of competitive, practice, when we put the athlete under the competitive pressure, under everything. Even then, the day of performance is very special day. Everybody knows about it, now or never. It's a do or die situation, so stress will occur. So, why stress is helpful? We need to understand, because this is the difference between the elite athlete and the non elite athlete. Elite athlete know how to handle the stress. They know how to perform under the stress. But non-elite athlete, they always have fear of stress. They just avoid it. They just don't want. And when we are avoiding something, the subconscious mind is understanding there is something wrong. And when we are in the wrong situation, we cannot perform well. So this is very, revolutionary statement that stress is helpful also, because if a very lack of motivation and very lack of pressure and stress, a person cannot perform. It's a DNA. It's a society's survival for the fittest. When we are under the threat, under the pressure,
Recording
we
stopped.
perform better. We perform better. So that is a issue, that people, if they just keep on avoiding the stress, when you are not tackling the problem, you are not getting the solution, then you are in the problem. That is the issue, what Dr. Yogmaya just wanted to understand. Why stress is harmful? I just told you that the end product of stress is anxiety, panic attacks, suddenly athlete goes under, under the
Recording in
state of,
progress.
numbness. They just lost it, and then they report to us, I just lost my mind over there. So that is why I always say it is a mental game. So repetitive exposure of stress, that can build up so much psychological anxiety and then depression. That's why it is very, it's a very thin line between the amount of stress, how much is beneficial and how much is dangerous. So this is the relationship between the stress and performance, the severity and duration, the attention span, the focus. That is, that gives you the boost, which today's world they call it, that give you the high. So when you are inappropriate, you are handling your stress appropriate, and then you are performing, you will give the optimal performance. But if it is not built up, the athlete is too cool, too calm, and he's not understanding, he's not taking the pressure, then boredom and depression occurs. They can't perform even their 50% or 60% of performance, they can't perform. Whereas if it is too much, no pain, no gain. If it is too much stress, too much pressure, too much, demand from the athlete, by the coaches, by the country, by the society, by family, then or by himself, by herself. Like my pressure was built up by my own prestige issue and repeated performance, and today the third year is the last year of the college, so this is the last chance to perform. So these are the self build up. And when it becomes very strong, strong anxiety occurs and then complete meltdown. That happens with lot of athletes, and coaches, they fail to understand what is happening actually. So three tips for the stress management. This stress has to manage. You have to understand the stress. Ask First of all, you need help of a sports psychologist, because there are so many training and techniques. Like every athlete you train differently. In the hockey team, in football team, in individual games, we always have a different training method to train a different athlete, because they think differently. Somebody understand with the motivation, with the positive note, and somebody in the perform better or understand better or practice better when they get a good score, when they get a good challenge. So, because of the mental makeup differences, the physical and physiological responses are different. So, you need to understand what is causes the stress. And when you identify that, identify your stress resource, then you need to get into the solution, whether it's a family. When that's why many times athletes, they don't we guide them to don't get involved into the relationship, because they are not able to handle the stress of the relationship sometimes, because of the commitments, because of the demand. So that you need to find out what are the causes. Is it a self built? Right now, India is performing so well, and the amount of appreciation amount or the winning amount is very high, crores. Now the athlete who has been selected for the performance for the Olympics, Asian or World Championship, they have a very much question mark, under the conflict of financial pressure. If they win, they can have that amount of money, but if they lose, then what? Because already family has not only spent the timing, money, everything. So what is the on the stake? You need to understand every athlete, from the family background, from educational background, financial background. Every athlete is different. You need to understand what is the building up, what is the reason that is building up the pressure or the stress, and learn to recognize the stress signals. That is very important, because from above everything is fine, but when you go deep inside, you will get to know that athlete have so many stressors, so many pressures, that they even can't discuss with, neither they can discuss with coach, nor they can discuss with family, and forget about the friends. They can't understand, because they are not, they don't belong to the sports fraternity, so they don't know. So experts are required to train the mind. As you are training the body, it is very essential to go ahead and train the mind. So, what are the strategies? So, one strategy is action oriented approach. That is, use your action. That is, if it occur, if this thought occur, you have to do this. So, we first identify the problem of an athlete, and then we give the solution, because every athlete behave differently in the pressure, in the state of pressure. Then emotional oriented approach, that is to change the stressful situation. There are the world class athlete who couldn't perform during Olympics, and when they have reported, when we have asked, the report was, after seeing so much of crowd, they're shouting, and the fun and flora of that stadium, Olympics, they have lost it. They have meltdown. They were filled with the fear. So this is very important, the emotional approach. Sometime one of my boxer, she has just lost her mother in an accident, which she was also with her. just 8 or 10 days before the All India Inter University Games. Now, this is such a huge setback. What you are going to tell? And then she recovered within 3 to 4 days, came back, reported us, and she said, "For my mother, I am ready. I'll dedicate my medal, ma'am. If I get the medal, I'll dedicate it to my mother." So, emotional oriented approach. So, how to handle it? Because when she came to me to the college, she was totally shattered. But she has just reported that okay, I have come. I know the team has to leave. But then we have done the counseling and and then we have given her the aim, emotional aim, that let's have this medal and dedicate it to your mother. She will be very happy up above the heaven. So don't lose it. And that was the motivation, and she brought the medal to us. So I have 385 medals for past 5 years in only archery. I have bodybuilding, I have teams of weightlifting, powerlifting, then of course volleyball. In colleges we have many, but the optimum performance, the peak performance is archery team, winning 385 medals. When we have counted, we were amazed. And many probables of mine go to the World University Game, or go for the, now they will go for the trial for the Olympics. So they are the probables of Olympics. So how we give them the training, the mental training, although we don't have very high facilities in colleges. Everybody knows about the college scenarios, but still, when we are providing them the equipment, we have provided them everything. What makes my team, my athlete, my archers different than others? The mental training. And many a times they report to the people, to different coaches, to different state people, when they ask how you are training, then they say we go for the mental training. That is our regularity. Whether we miss our physical training, but we can't miss our mental training. Our ma'am is very strict about it, because I know they will lose it from here. And archery is such a focused and concentrated game that you need all out. You can't afford to miss the arrow. You can't afford to miss, the low marking. You will lose. And then comes the acceptance oriented approach, the this to control. When athlete think about in the stressful situation, you can't control, then accept it. If your opponent is previous year's gold medalist, or if you are giving a trial for the Olympics, everybody will come prepared. Accept this fact and then perform. Don't get into the anxiety or stress. In athletics, everybody knows what are the clock timing of other athletes. If you are in question, my timing is already low, he is competing with me, how am I going to select? You don't know what is going on his mind, so you can control your own mind. So accept it. And many a time this is the thing, that sometimes people are very overconfident, that okay, my clock timing is this, I will be selected, and it happens. And then they fail to perform the optimum level. And then the second selection, the second person, he got selected, and he has represented country. So many examples are there. So the state of stress is, one is challenge state and one is threat state. Let us understand this. The person, the athlete, comes into the challenge state, where he is accepting the challenge. He is not afraid of it. So that is the challenge state, where either the challenge is accepted, and if the mental training is not done properly, this challenge will shatter him. The challenge from the previous medalist, the challenge in bouts in boxing or any combat game, the challenge state is if the opponent is heavier than you, looking better in physically looking better in the shape and body. This is the challenge state. Either a person can accept, or if the mental training is not there, then they will withdraw. By through mind, through heart, they will withdraw. So they won't fight. they can't perform their own optima. And then come the threat state, where a person comes under the threat because of the opponent, because of their attire. When I was accompanying the team in Asian Games, one of the gymnasts, because she was from South India, not South India, she was from Hyderabad, and we have our own appearance, but we make it a issue. We make it the question of our self-esteem that is challenged. So when she has seen the gymnast with the beautiful costumes, and they were very uh, well make-upped, well hair groomed, from Bulgaria, from many other countries, they were looking very beautiful. She has lost it there and then. 2 days before only, when we have reached after the opening ceremony, she melted down. She became quiet, she became nervous. And when in the practice time, during the one day before, when we were doing practice, I just called her, and we have jotted down, because gymnastic was my specialization. I told her, you have better difficulties than other. So in your set, you already have a better difficulties. You will get better marks than them if you perform. And I have made it a point to sit with her and watch other performances, and telling her that, look, her difficulty is not complete. She is not performing appropriate. Her height is not appropriate or acceptable. The dejection will be here. So, like that, the threat state, from threat state, I pulled her to the challenge state. Let us challenge. May they are looking very beautiful. May they are having very beautiful attire. But for attire, you will get 1 mark. 9 marks you have for your skills. Let us grab that. So, like that, the challenge state and threat state, this is a very, and and coaches and managers, they can't even think, about these kind of states. Nobody in the team, those who were the manager and coaches, they couldn't understand what is going inside her mind. She became quiet. She was not eating well. She was very nervous. Her glow, her charm from the face, she was totally gone. So that's why it is very essential to understand the brain. Now, brain is a calculating machine. You can wire, you can rewire, and neuroplasticity. You can change the total mental makeup of a person, from what people call loser. I don't use these words. From even then, to make you understand, from loser, from down to top, you can make them medalist. And here we have, I have two examples, one from archery and one from triathlon. So my archer, when I counsel him, I use neurolinguistic programming. So I'll give the example with the neurolinguistic programming. So let us talk about the neuroplasticity here, where the body and mind, they should not get disconnect. So brains that provide learn and relearn, they can relearn again and again. We can teach them. So neurolinguistic programming is very important. This is a study of behavior and cognitive excellence. I think I have to check the timing also, because it's a uh, very long topic. But neurolinguistic programming, that is neurons, your brain, your body. And linguistic means language, the athlete talk with them, what athlete is talking to them, that is very important. And here the programming work very well, that through modeling, Milton model, anchoring, reframing, ecology, VKD, swish, these are the techniques we are using in NLP to make them tough. So when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. So neurolinguistic programming help to change the environment, internal thinking, internal language of an athlete, so that when they are alone, because that girl was not accompanied by her own coach. So the other coach was from Jammu. So he couldn't gel with that girl. He couldn't, he just didn't know anything about that girl. So he thought maybe she talks less, maybe she eat less. But as a psychologist, through her face, through her movement, through her gesture, I judged it that no, she is just melting down, she is losing her confidence, and she is not going to perform. And one time she said to me, ma'am, I just don't want to go to the podium. I just don't want to perform. I said, next time you won't get chance. You won't be in Indian team. This is India team. You are representing India, and very, with a lot of counseling, we just pulled her. So you all are welcome to. We are running an NGO ISFD courses that is under the NGO, and we are offering the free courses for NLP for peak performance, because I know we are missing this link, and this link, if it get the block set properly, then we will get more and more medals, and you can perform, you can get, you can expect anything, and we can lead India towards the medal tally, towards the more and more medal tally. Thank you so much. Here I would like to stop my screen. And
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was a very inspiring presentation you have given with all the details on this
thank you
subject.
so much. I
No,
had lots of examples to quote, but today the time is very less. So, if anybody would like to learn about the NLP and about to go for the peak performance, and want to help Indian team, because my mission is why I want to prepare more and more sports psychologists and more NLP experts, because 2028 ओलंपिक नेचुरल है वो यही है, लॉस एंजलिस में यूएसए में होगा, और उसके बाद नेक्स्ट अपकमिंग ओलंपिक्स वी आर बिडिंग. India is going to bid for the Olympics, so we need more and more proper trainers who can train mentally. We have lots of qualified coaches. We have physiotherapists, expert physiotherapists with us to help us to recover, but we need mental training. Thank you so much for patient hearing. Any question, you have my email, you have my number. Please contact, and I would love to help. Our NGOs love to help you, all of, all of you. Thank you.
thank you so much, ma'am. You have put in your efforts into something very important. That when we talk about sports field, it's not about only physiotherapy, not about only nutrition, but psychology plays a very important role to boost them out
Yeah.
of those situations. So thank you for
Right.
the presentation, ma'am. And I love that
Thank
key
you.
steps which you have given is that to understand the stress, to identify the stress, and then to look into the stress signals. So that
Yeah.
was very inspiring, ma'am. Thank you so much for your presentation.
Let me conclude, डॉक्टर महक, बिकॉज बहुत सारी बातें स्ट्रेस और डिप्रेशन से होती हैं और सुसाइड तक भी पहुंच जाती हैं. समटाइम इफ यू आर नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट द स्पोर्ट्स पर्सन, इवन स्पोर्ट्स पर्सन के साथ भी होता है. सो सिग्नल्स पहचानने, दैट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. सिग्नल पहले आते हैं, बिकॉज इट्स अ वेरी एक्सट्रीम स्ट्रेस. डिप्रेशन में जाना कोई आसान नहीं होता, सुसाइड करना तो बिल्कुल ही नहीं होता, लेकिन सिग्नल्स होते हैं, लोग पहचान नहीं पाते, और वो मतलब रिकॉग्नाइज करना, दैट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट.
Yes, ma'am. Very, very true, ma'am. You're right on that point, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for giving your time, ma'am. And we are not feeling sleepy, and you're not looking sleepy at all.
Thank you. That's my, because I'm living my passion. That's my profession. So I can talk for hours and hours on these subjects. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. I hand over